Good evening, everyone. My name is Janice Kisty, Jackson Township Clerk. Welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Jackson Township Council of August 25th, 2020. Begin with a roll call. Councilman Bressi? Here. Councilman Chisholm is absent this evening. Councilman Fleming?
Here.
Council Vice President Kern?
Here.
Council President Sawicki?
Here.
Attorney Greg McGuckin? And also present this evening are our Mayor, Michael Rena, and Administrator Terrence Wall. As clerk of this meeting, I publicly announce that in compliance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting has been advertised in the manner prescribed by law. The statement shall be entered into the minutes of the meeting. We have a presentation this evening.
We do, Madam Clerk, and if I could ask the council and the mayor to join me in the well. Can I get a mic?
Yep. No problem. Actually, I have to give them mics down there.
Let's go.
Hello, hello. All right.
Get one for each.
All right. Tonight we're going to honor a gentleman who's put a lot of time into the town. Typically, we present a plaque to those that are being honored, but we brought signage instead. So all signage from about 10 years worth of service is being presented tonight, but we did get a plaque too. So if council could join me.
And I'm so glad they're coming out of my office.
I will socially distance best we can. So tonight we just wanted to take a moment to honor Barry Calogero. We didn't really have an opportunity to do it as timely as we would have liked, given the restrictions on COVID. Wanted to allow the public to get back in and let things get somewhat back to normal. We have a long way to go, but we've had meetings. We've never missed a meeting throughout COVID, and in part due to Barry's leadership and making sure that we continue to have them even when other towns were skipping them. It's my honor to be able to recognize Barry tonight. For those of you who don't know, he's an adopted son from Queens. He met the love of his life, Gina, when they were in Queens, and thankfully moved to Jackson. And whether he realizes it or not, he really affected a lot of people's lives, particularly inspiring several of us up here, myself included, to serve in public office. I had the honor of meeting Barry about 6 years ago. I got to watch what he was doing in town. He was nice enough to mentor me and kind of take me under his wing. And lo and behold, a few years later, I'm doing what I've always wanted to do as well, which is serve this town. And I certainly have Barry as that example. So on behalf of the mayor, the council, I did want to recognize his years of service, which are noted on the plaque. Councilman from 2013 to 2020, council president 2015-2020, council vice president 2014-2019, and if you don't know, all in about 15 years of service to this town when you consider all the other boards that Barry put in. So a real example to what it means to serve, and Jackson really thanks you. Thank you, Barry.
Thank you.
Please come on up.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you for the recognition. The last 8 years has been a true honor to serve the people of Jackson. I left the township in great hands. You guys are doing a great job. Continue doing it. And to the residents, don't forget to vote for these gentlemen in November. Thank you very much. Thank you, Council. God bless America.
Thank you.
You gotta hold up your
Like a little kid on Christmas.
everybody can take the message. There we go. 1, 2, and 3. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Got it?
Keep up the good work, gentlemen. I'm always going to say I'm not from the garage. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Everybody's here.
Okay.
And next on the agenda, we have a proclamation for Hunger Awareness Month to be read by Councilman Fleming.
Thank you. All right, proclamation of the Township of Jackson. Whereas hunger and poverty are issues of grave concern in the United States and the state of New Jersey, and whereas Jackson Township is committed to taking steps to raise awareness about the need to combat hunger, and whereas Jackson is committed to working with Fulfill, formerly the Food Bank of Monmouth and Ocean Counties, to educate people about the role and importance of food banks in addressing hunger and devote more resources and attention to hunger issues. And whereas more than 215,000 individuals in Monmouth and Ocean Counties now rely on food provided by Fulfill and its partners since the beginning of the pandemic. And whereas the unemployment level is the highest it has ever been in the history of the state, and the poverty level for a family of 4 is $25,465, and 9.5% of families live below that level. And whereas, since March 13th of 2020, Fulfill has provided 1,986,909 meals, including 16,000 more meals per day than the year before, and 1,082,925 of those meals were provided to Ocean County residents. And whereas, due to the pandemic, 1 in every 6 people in Monmouth and Ocean Counties received emergency food from Fulfill and their network of food pantries, soup kitchens, shelters, and other community organizations. And whereas food banks across the country, including Fulfill, will host numerous events throughout the month of September to bring awareness and attention to encourage involvement in efforts to end hunger in their local community. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that Mayor Michael Rena and the Township Council of the Township of Jackson, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, do hereby recognize September 2020 as Hunger Action Month in the Township of Jackson, and encourage residents to take action against hunger by donating to local food banks, volunteering their time to fight hunger, and by spreading the word to educate others about the issue of hunger.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We will now continue with opening comments from the Township Council. Councilman Bressi.
Thank you. Now, so many times you hear a proclamation and they kind of just go by the wayside and nobody looks at the meaning. But I think this year with this pandemic, unemployment, people out of work, it really shows the need for it and how, in these times especially, the severity of it that's out there and the worries people have about feeding their family the next week. So, once again, the proclamations do mean something, although a lot of times just read and just not paid much attention. Barry, I think the township owes you a thank you for all your years of service on the council and on the zoning board. I know you took a lot of pride in that. Good luck in your endeavors. Wish you all the best in your health. Take care. God bless. Thank you all for coming out this evening.
Thank you. Councilman Fleming?
Thank you. I'd also like to commend Barry for the work he's done for the township and for getting me involved in what I'm doing now. I would also like to remind everyone of the importance, as Councilman Bressi, the importance of the organizations like Fulfill and the other food banks we have in town. Please keep these groups in your donation plans, whether it be monetary, food, or most importantly, your time. They can always use your help. Thank you.
Council Vice President Kern?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And I cannot give a heartfelt thank you enough
to Barry Collegiero, who has done so much for this town, both up here from this dais in different roles and different boards and this council, and also in helping and mentoring and communicating to many people throughout the town and really getting the input from the people of the town. As he grew and as he did everything he could for the people of this town. Thank you, Barry. We really appreciate everything that you've done. Tonight, I'd like to thank the mayor and administrator for resolutions 310 R20 and 311 R20. These resolutions amend resolutions that we passed earlier this year to install new handicap entrance doors. One here at the Municipal Building and the other at the Justice Complex Building. We are now adding new handicap entrance doors at the DPW Building and the Senior Center. You may or may not know that after a fall 3 years ago, in June of 2017, I almost lost my leg. And after a very long and grueling recovery, I was left permanently handicapped. That incident and every day of my life thereafter, I have looked at the world differently. Seeing and experiencing physical obstacles and barriers that I may not have noticed in the past has given me insight into the challenges that our senior community and the disabled residents of our community face every day. Earlier this year, I was able to convince the Board of Education to change such a barrier at Liberty High School, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank them for completing the job in just a few weeks. While we cannot snap our fingers and make everything perfect for everyone, this council works with the administration every day to make our town a better place for all of our residents. Thank you all for coming out tonight, and get home safely.
Council President Zawecki.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Just a last thank you to our former council president and leader, Barry Collegiero, for what he's brought to this dais, the professionalism, the class, and really the effort that he put forth over those years. The town is forever in your debt for all that work, and it's very much appreciated. The proclamation that was read by Councilman Fleming tonight, I hope people do hear it. We every so often this council reads a proclamation, and it's done with a purpose behind it. It's really to remind the residents of some pretty important things. And if you get to see the proclamation in writing, which I know it's tough to pick up on them when they're being read, but there's some really unbelievable stats in there that it's really it's very sad to see, actually. So if you get a moment and you have an opportunity to give your time and maybe even a little money towards the efforts that Fulfill is doing for Ocean and Monmouth County, would highly encourage it. Last thing I wanted to mention was Resolution 301 R20. It's listed for demolition services of Block 11301 Lot 3, which we affectionately know as Rova Farms. As many residents know, the town purchased Rova Farms last year. The response to that purchase was overwhelmingly positive for a couple of reasons, not the least of which is the history that exists there and the memories that a lot of residents, particularly lifelong residents, have of that property. This is one of the first major steps, I think, to developing that property. The demolition of the building, which has been condemned and needs to come down, is in with full support of the church in the area as well as other residents around that area. Certainly want to see it come down given the state of it. But it also marks the next move forward for that property. We've had a lot of residents ask what's going to become of the property, and we've started that process too to really understand what it can become. But the plan is for it to become something really great for the residents of this town, and accepting bids for the demolition of the building is kind of the first big step. So more to come on that, but wanted to commend the business administrator and the mayor for continuing to help move that forward. And like I said, a lot more to come on that property as we move forward. Mr. Mayor, any comments?
Barry, I don't think I was going to see anymore, but I'll tell you right now, all them signs that you've taken with you tonight, I don't want to see them on any park entrances, okay? Again, I'll repeat what you've already heard. Your contributions left a footprint for others to follow, and it's something you should be very proud of. The new council president that I'm working with is a great communicator, such as the communication that you and I had between council president and mayor. So Alex did pick up a lot from you, and thank you. All I do is wish you the best every day, and I hope, moving forward, it just becomes more and more brighter for you. But thank you very much.
Thank you for your leadership.
Thank you very much. Kind of you. But tonight's your night. Council President, to just expand on the proclamation would fulfill, unbeknownst to a lot of people, former Lieutenant Governor Guardano heads this up. She's very, very dedicated to this cause. I've met with her several times. She was the one instrumental getting the signs here that we put all throughout town, how you can get food. So I don't want her to be lost in all of this, and I know she's not looking for the recognition, but she definitely deserves it tonight. It's a very worthwhile cause that they're doing. A lot of people are in trouble right now. Mainly because of COVID, and unfortunately all the missteps taken around it with businesses not being able to be opened. The last time I looked, this is the United States of America. We're now being told we can't vote, we can't shop, but we can eat in a parking lot and be happy about it. Makes no sense to me. Seems like we're being conditioned for something worse, which this year at the voting booth, ladies and gentlemen, is going to probably be the most important vote of our lives. The governor right now is probably walking on some very thin ice with some of these executive orders. Thank you to Senator Mike Doherty, who's keeping a fine line on him. I hope the lawsuit is successful and brings it back that we can vote in public. I think businesses need to open. I think we need to get on with our lives. This country was not built on the backs of fearful men. Never was, should never will be. Now we have women in the military, so I'm going to add fearful women as well. They do not fear anything. We should not fear a flu. I encourage each and everybody, including the council, to write the legislators, to write the governor, and tell him it's time to open up the state of New Jersey. Let us decide where we want to go, when we want to go, and how we want to go about it. Enough is enough. The numbers are supposed to be driving the data. The data is supposed to be driving the numbers. The numbers are supposed to be driving the data. Every day here's something different, whether it's coming out of the federal government or whether it's coming out of the state. Everybody's confused, and nobody knows what to do, and you're living in fear. We should not live in fear. Vote. It is very important. Council President, thank you very much for allowing me to speak. Ladies and gentlemen, have a good night. Thank you for coming out. Barry, Gina, all the best as you move forward in your lives.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. There are no ordinances for second reading this evening. We have one ordinance for first reading, Ordinance 13-20, an ordinance of the Township of Jackson, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, authorizing the private sale of certain ambulances owned by the Township of Jackson to the Jackson Township First Aid Squad for nominal consideration pursuant to NJSA 48:12-21.1. Motion to approve Ordinance 13-20 on first reading, advertise the notice of approval, and public hearing scheduled for September 8th, 2020.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Bressi? Yes. Councilman Fleming?
Yes.
Council Vice President Kern?
Yes.
Council President Sawicki?
Yes.
We will now open public comment for resolutions only. If you wish to speak on resolutions, please come to the microphone.
Nino Borelli, 36 Winthrop Drive, Jackson, New Jersey. First, I want to start off by, can you hear me? Good evening. I want to thank Councilman Calogero. I know him and his wife just left. Thank him for his many years of service to our town, including the Zoning Board of Adjustment, which I'm honored to currently be serving on. And can't thank him enough for his support and encouragement, and I wish him and his family the best going forward. I want to speak about the first resolution, Resolution 298R-20, which strongly encourages the right to vote in person for November 3rd, 2020's general election, which I think will help protect the integrity of our electoral system here in Jackson, America's beautiful system. I mean, if people want to vote by mail, let them vote by mail. But if people want to vote in person, they have every right to do that without their state government dictating otherwise. And also, all polling places should be available for them to be able to vote, not just maybe 50% or less capacity here and there. All out by voting by mail can lead to fraud and corruption, and people's votes from getting counted or even lost. We have seen this happen in our country, including in our own state this year, Patterson, New Jersey being the example. So I want to thank you for your proactiveness and leadership with this resolution ahead of the most important election of our lifetimes. Hopefully other towns will follow suit and send a loud and clear message to Governor Murphy to reverse course. So I want to thank you for your standing up for our town's voters and residents with this resolution. I would do the same. Take care and have a good evening.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Seeing no one, move to close public portion.
All in favor?
Moving on to resolutions, 298R-20 is a resolution strongly encouraging the right of in-person machine voting for the November 3rd, 2020 general election.
Madam Clerk, for this one, every so often we come across a resolution that we think is worth reading out loud. I'd like to ask Vice President Kern to read this one before voting.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Resolution strongly encouraging the right of in-person machine voting for the November 3rd, 2020 general election. Whereas the state of New Jersey will be holding a general election in November 2020, and whereas mail-in ballots were used predominantly in the primary election in July of 2020, and whereas the practice of predominantly using mail-in ballots for all registered voters caused concerns for voter fraud, voter disenfranchisement, postal delivery delays, significant increase in election costs, and reliance on a flawed statewide voter DMV computer registration database, and resulted in significant delays in the counting of ballots. And whereas, well before the COVID-19 pandemic, New Jersey law permitted voting by mail for any reason or no reason at all, allowing any voter, even remotely concerned about in-person voting, the option to request a mail-in ballot, thus enhancing voter choice. And whereas numerous voters have expressed a desire to wait until Election Day to cast their ballot electronically in person for the candidate of their choice to fully assess the latest information available. Whereas the Jackson Township Council is gravely concerned that the predominant use of mail-in ballots during the 2020 primary election was difficult at best and represents but a small fraction of the ballots to be cast when compared to the upcoming general election. And whereas Jackson Township Council feels strongly voter choice should refer to how to vote, not just who to vote, for a given election cycle.
Thank you.
May we have a motion on the resolution?
Roll call, please.
Councilman Bressi?
Yes.
Councilman Fleming?
Yes.
Council Vice President Kern?
With every bit of my heart, yes.
Council President Sawicki?
Yes.
Thank you. 299R-20 is a certification of the calendar year 2019 audit.
Can I get a motion, please? Roll call, please.
Councilman Bressi?
Yes.
Councilman Fleming?
Yes.
Council Vice President Kern?
Yes.
Council President Sawicki?
Yes.
300R-20, calendar year 2019 municipal audit, corrective action plan.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Bressi? Councilman Fleming?
Yes.
Council Vice President Kern?
Yes.
Council President Sawicki?
Yes.
301R-20, authorized appropriation, advertisement, and receipt of bids for demolition services on Block 11301, Lot 3.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Bressi? Councilman Fleming?
Yes.
Council Vice President Kern?
Yes.
Council President Sawicki?
Yes.
302R-20, authorize a contract with R.J. Twitchell and Company Incorporated for the replacement of telescopic cylinders in two 40-cubic-yard, fully jacked compaction containers for the Township of Jackson for a total cost of $22,544.04.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Bressi?
Yes.
Councilman Fleming?
Yes.
Council Vice President Kern?
Yes.
Council President Sawicki?
Yes.
303R-20, authorize the renewal of various liquor licenses for the period July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2021.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Bressi?
Yes.
Councilman Fleming?
Yes.
Council Vice President Kern?
Yes.
Council President Sawicki?
Yes.
304R-20, authorize release to IK Mason Management Corporation of the performance bond issued for 603 Reed Road, Block 10305, Lot 59.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Bressi?
Yes.
Councilman Fleming?
Yes.
Council Vice President Kern?
Yes.
Council President Sawicki?
Yes.
305R-20, amend Resolution 158R-20, authorizing the execution, submission, and acceptance of the 2021 Area Plan Contract Program grant for the Department of Senior Services through the Ocean County Office of Senior Services so as to accept additional funding in the amount of $5,160.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Bressi?
Yes.
Councilman Fleming?
Yes.
Council Vice President Kern?
Yes.
Council President Sawicki?
Yes.
306R-20, approve the appointment of Jacqueline Egan as Clerk 1 in the Township Clerk's Office at the starting rate for Clerk 1, subject to her acceptance of the Township's offer.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Bressi?
Yes.
Councilman Fleming?
Yes.
Council Vice President Kern?
Yes.
Council President Sawicki?
Nice job, Madam Clerk, and yes.
Thank you very much. May I have a motion for bills and claims?
Roll call, please.
Councilman Bressi?
Yes.
Councilman Fleming?
Yes.
Council Vice President Kern?
Abstain from vendor SUR 09. Yes to the rest.
And Council President Sawicki?
Yes.
Move on to the consent agenda, which is one vote for all of these resolutions. 307R-20, approve Township Council meeting minutes of August 11, 2020. 308R-20, tax overpayment refunds. 309R-20, approve cancellation of taxes for a disabled veteran exemption on Block 4402, Lot 84. 310R-20, amend Resolution 103R-20 for preparation, advertisement, and acceptance of bids for handicap door replacement at the Jackson Township Municipal Building to also include the Senior Center handicap doors. 311R-20, amend Resolution 104R-20 for preparation, advertisement, and acceptance of bids for handicap door replacement at the Justice Complex Building to also include the DPW handicap doors. 312R-20, approve Chief Financial Officer's report for the month of July 2020. 313R-20, amending official depositories and authorized municipal officials to sign checks for disbursement of funds for calendar year 2020 and to add a tax sale checking account. 314R-20, authorized submission and acceptance of body armor replacement fund grant through the State of New Jersey Department of Law and Public Safety, fiscal year 2020. May I have a motion?
Roll call, please.
Councilman Bressi? Yes. Councilman Fleming?
Yes.
Council Vice President Kern?
Yes.
Council President Sawicki?
Abstain from 307R-20, yes to the rest.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to make an announcement again about the census, if I may.
Please.
The census is still being taken in our state. And this is a reminder for anyone who has not yet completed the 2020 census. You may do so online, 2020census.gov. And I'm told your information on that website is completely confidential, and it's important for everyone to be counted in this census. And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me in the Township Clerk's office. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you.
And now we'll move on to public comment on any topic. If you wish to speak at the microphone, kindly identify your name and address for the record.
Joseph Sullivan, 31 Cathy Court, Jackson, New Jersey. I just wanted to thank Barry Calogero for all his service to the community on the council and the zoning board before that. He served this town with distinction and honor, and he will be sorely missed. I also wanted to commend the council, the mayor, the administration for protecting our right to vote. And it's so important that we have the right to vote in person, that we have the right to have our vote counted. And if our votes are done through the mail, there is no guarantee that all our votes will be counted. This country has gone through many tragedies, turmoils, even other pandemics. And the right to vote was never infringed during any of those times. And it shouldn't be now. So thank you so much.
Great, thank you. Anyone else?
Seeing no one, move to close public portion?
Can I get a was that a second?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I get a motion to close?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you. Have a good night, folks. Be safe.